Good morning, everybody. So first off, I want to say Happy Memorial Day before I get started. And I do want to let everybody know that this topic is a little controversial. It's about religion. So if you feel like you're going to get upset about hearing about it, or throughout the video, if you feel uncomfortable with the topic or the things that are being said, just let me know or click off the video. So just wanted to put that out there. Okay, so this question reads, I'm planning to move in with my boyfriend in August, and I really don't know how to tell my parents. My dad is a pastor, but I'm also 24, and I'm ready to move on with my life. Okay. I've made up my mind that I'm going to move in with him. I just don't know how to tell them. And my parents lived together before they were married, but now that my dad is a pastor, he doesn't see it as being the same thing. Okay, So first, I just want to say that it took a lot of courage for you to even ask me the question. I know that you don't know me very well, so I want to say thank you for asking me the question and trusting me with the answer or advice that I can give. I can't promise that it's going to be anything that helps, but just know that I'm thinking about you, and I know that this must be super difficult. It's always really hard whenever we feel like what we're doing is not something that our parents would approve of or would make them happy. It doesn't matter how old you are. I mean, I'm about to be 24 and I still want them to be proud of the things that I do. But you're right, there's also a point when you have to make decisions for yourself and for your life, and you can't live your life letting someone else dictate the things that you do. You have to really sit down and think about what in this situation is going to make you happy, what's going to make you be your best self. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about, just that is a story that came to my mind, and it's a very different circumstance than what you're dealing with, but I feel like it could help you. So I'm not going to get into too much detail just because I want to keep this as private as I can. But in 2016, I went on a mission trip to Haiti with a religious group that I was a part of. And there was a situation that happened while we were there that really did not sit well with me. So the whole point of being there was that we were, supposed to be telling the gospel, bringing people to Christ. And there they don't see nakedness the same. There's a lot of different countries that don't, and they just didn't see it as being embarrassing or inappropriate. That's not how they looked at it. And so we knocked on this woman's hut. We wanted to talk to her. We had heard about her through the community. And she came out. She had just gotten out of the shower, and she was in a towel. And I remember all the men from the religious group walked away from her, and they let the women talk to her. Which, no matter how I look at it, doesn't feel okay to me, because I don't think that we're supposed to be teaching the love of Jesus, and we're walking away from this woman because she's in a towel, and I don't think that Jesus would do that. And so that was something that was an experience that stuck with me. And while it's two very different things, I think that that's kind of how you're feeling. You're gonna walk out pretty much ultimately in a towel and tell your parents, this is what I'm doing. It may be embarrassing for your parents, or it may be inappropriate for your parents, but you may not see it the same way. And at the end of the day, they're called to love you. And I understand. I mean, I consider myself a Christian. I haven't had the best sitting with finding a good church family recently, but I would consider myself a Christian, and so a lot of the things that you were talking about would probably upset some of my family too. So I just want to say that it will take a lot of courage for you to talk to them, but I'm really glad that you're thinking about telling them, because I've also known people friends who have hid it from their families, and that's never, honestly, I just think it's better to just be honest about something like that. That's the best way to keep the relationship between you and your parents. So I think it's really great that you want to talk to them. Really, the best advice I can give you is just to come straight out. Don't be accusatory when you come to talk to him. I mean, I know that, in your question you mentioned that he and your mother had moved in together before they were married. I don't think he's necessarily consciously meaning to, but I think that he may be, because he experienced that, there may be some negative effects to that and some things that he and your mother went through that maybe they're trying to prevent you from having to go through. I know that anytime I'm trying to make a decision in my family, it was something that they did and they're completely against it, it's usually because they have they have life experience with that situation, they went through that situation, and so they know the negative effects to it too. But I don't think he's necessarily trying to do it to be overbearing or to make you feel like you can't make your own decisions. He does probably want the best for you from the conversation that you and I had online. And so I just want you to remember that. I know it can seem like our families just, they want to control everything. Like they're very into what's going on with our lives, but I don't think that that's necessarily the case. They just don't want to see you make maybe a decision that caused them some grief or caused them, some pain, and so they're just trying to help you. So just remember that whenever you go to talk to him, try not to come at him accusatory, but I do think it's important that you bring up the fact that they did live together before they were married, and just say, at some point, Dad and Mom, I have to make a decision for myself. You're right, you are 24, and as much as you want to make your family happy, you have to decide how you're going to live your life. I don't think that Jesus is going to love you any less, and any Christian that tells you that needs to read their Bible a little bit more. And I'm not even going to pretend like I read mine a lot, because I don't. I do not dive into the relationship with Christ like I need to, but I know he's not going to not love you because of this decision. So I need you to know that as well. But really the questions I want to leave you with, because we didn't go super in depth whenever we were talking online, is what do you want your life to be? Are you wanting to live by a very, religious moral code, or do you not see that that's what fits your life right now? Because at the end of the day, Jesus also doesn't want us to feel like we have to have a relationship with him because our families and our friends have it. He wants you to have a relationship with him because that's what you want personally. And so you really have to dig within yourself and decide, what kind of life do I want to live? And what kind of choices do I want to make? And at the end of the day, your family has to accept you and love you. They don't necessarily have to like the things that you do, but they can't tell you, they can't stop you from doing these things. So I think that it's really great that you've decided that this is what you're going to do. You're sticking to your guns and you're going to tell him. And I just think that as long as you're really sure in that decision, then, the people who love you, they should back you up 100%. I do. And I believe that sooner or later, he may be upset whenever you first come to him, and that's okay. You still don't be accusatory. Don't come at him really defensive, because that'll only add to the fire. Let him be mad. Let him be upset. Let him say whatever he's going to say, no matter how hurtful it is. Because sooner or later he's going to realize that at the end of the day, you're his daughter, and he did the same thing that you did. I mean, he's not going to not love you for this. I know that it seems really scary right now, but I guarantee you after you talk to them, no matter what happens, even if he's mad, you're still going to feel so much better because you got it off your chest. I know that carrying this kind of information around, it's not good for you. And just kind of waiting to tell someone, waiting to talk to them, waiting to see how they're going to respond is a very abusive mental cycle to put ourselves in. So I think that talking to him as soon as you can is going to be pretty important. Just come at him lovingly, come at him non-defensively, and then give him the space to feel however he's going to feel. Because at the end of the day, just like he can't control, what you do, you can't control how he's going to react to it. We only have control over our own actions. And I know you from college a little bit, so I feel in my heart that you want to do what's best, and you know, for yourself and for your family. And so I believe that God sees that too. I think that He knows your heart in every situation, and I think that once you talk to your parents, this is all just gonna flow off you, and you're gonna feel so much better. But really, my main takeaways from this is to know that God is not gonna disown you or not love you for whatever decision you make. And neither are your parents, no matter how upset they are. And at the end of the day, if someone is upset with you for a decision that you make for your life, you don't need those people in your life anyways. And I know that that's super hard to, you know, it's easy to say, but it's hard to remember when you're in that situation. But I've come to find that we all do things that either we're not proud of, or that people that we love wouldn't be proud of. But that's the amazing thing about religion and God, is that you're still supposed to love people no matter what. So honestly, I don't think that I just feel in my heart that this is not going to be like a bad situation. It's not going to be a bad outcome. So just remember, God loves you, your dad loves you, your mom loves you, your boyfriend is going to love you, and what's the most important is that you love you, and you love the decision that you're going to make, no matter what it is, whether you still go through with moving in with him, or you decide, no, I'm not ready for this. Whichever decision that you make, as long as you are happy with yourself and you can look yourself in the mirror, that's what's important. And I wish I could help more. I don't know if this was helpful at all. I hope that it just gave you a little bit of courage, a little bit of pep talk, but just know I want to hear what happens. If you want to share it with me, I'd love to share it later in another video to our listeners who might be going through some of the same situation, or they may have been through the same situation, and it could give them hope. So yeah, just keep me updated, and just know that I'm here to talk to you, and everything is going to be okay. Thank you guys for watching, and there'll be another video out at the end of this week. I do have a disclaimer. It is going to be about sexual assault, so if you feel like you're going to be triggered by this subject, you might want to skip next week's video. Thank you so much for listening.